highlighting a couple things that we're going to talk about during our intro to Google Drive. So first thing, we're going to learn how we're going to sign into Google Drive with your email address. So we're going to jump into there. Then we're going to talk about organizing your Google Drive. So creating folders, managing your folders, moving your folders and documents between different folders and spaces within your Google Drive. Next, we're going to take a look in a deep dive within Google Docs. So understanding how to utilize Google Docs, understanding how you can create documents and essays and various different things for your students. We're going to talk about how we can share our documents either between our students, with our students, student to student, and seeing all the sharing settings that we do have for Google Docs. Then we're going to see some other tips and tricks. So taking a look, of course, at adding text, modifying text, adding images and videos, getting information from online directly to your document, changing the page format, various different things like that there. Then finally, we're going to jump into Google Jamboard, which is a kind of new feature that Google just introduced a couple months ago, and how we can use that as kind of like an interactive whiteboard that allows our students to collaborate within Google. So we'll be taking a look at that. And of course, throughout the entire PD, I do encourage you to ask any questions. You feel free to post in the chat or let me know if you have any questions, and I definitely want to be able to address your questions as we go through the PD today. So definitely let me know if you have any questions, and we're going to jump right into our session. So first thing that we want to do, I'll just come to a new page. When I'm working with Google Drive and I want to get myself to Google Drive, the first thing that I'll always do, I'll just go to drive.google.com. All right. Once we go to Once we go to drive.google.com, that will bring us directly to our Google Drive. I'm going to open it up here. So in my Google Drive, I'm actually already signed in. But what you can generally do if you're actually signed out, and I'll show you exactly what this will look like. So again, if we go to drive.google.com, and we're currently just based here, what we can do, I have an account that I'm already signed in with. I can also add another account, or I can directly sign in, and I can just go ahead and sign in with my account details. So I'll type in my account details here, have my email address. Let's go to next. I'll type in my password. Next, and that will bring me to my Google Drive. All right, so you may have your drive empty. I have a couple documents, I have a couple folders already inside of my drive. No problem at all, but this is your base home drive that you have, and you'll be able to add all the different information, documents, sheets, slideshows, various things that you want to add into your folders that you want to collaborate and share with your students. So first thing I want to do, I want to create a folder within my Google Drive here. So I'm just going to go to the top left-hand corner. I'm just going to zoom in so we can all see a little bit better. At the top left-hand corner, just under the Drive logo, we have this new button with a plus. I'm just going to click that button, and I have a couple options, but I'm going to click the first option that says folder. And this is going to give me the opportunity to create a new folder. So I'm just going to give this folder a name. I'll just say period, or let's say math class. So I'll just call it my math class. This will be my home folder. Now, once I press create, now you'll see directly in my Google Drive, I have my math class folder here. So it tells me the time it was created, the time it was modified. It tells me that I'm the owner, and I have my math class here. All right, so just to highlight, I went to new, folder, and then I have the opportunity to create a new folder. All right. So now I'm just going to go inside my math folder. And now in here, I have nothing, completely blank, because I just created this new folder. So I have a lot of different opportunities for various things I can do within this first folder. First thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to create another folder within this here. So for example, if I have my math class, maybe I have multiple periods that I work with: first period, second period, fifth period, and eighth period, right? So I'm going to create a folder for each of those periods so I can manage the various documents that I have. So I'm going to click new again and just go ahead and create another folder. And just an example, I'm just going to call this my period 1. So now it comes up in my math class folder. I have my period 1 class. All right. So I'm just going to create 2 more. I'm just going to say my period 2. I'm just going to create that folder, and I'll just create one more. Let's say I have period 5. Now I have my 3 classes in my one math class folder. So I know, okay, these are all differentiated between the different periods. Just like I went into my math class folder, I can jump right into any of my current folders. Of course, there's no documents in here yet. At the top, I have the options to navigate through my Google Drive. So I can go back to math class and I can see all the periods again. I can go back to my home drive and see all the other documents I regularly have, right? And of course, I can navigate between each of the periods, all right? So great, now I have my folders. Now I want to get some documents, right? I want to start creating some documents. I want to add some documents into my folders that I want to share to my students. So similar to how I created a folder, at the top left, I'm going to go to that new. And instead of folder, I'm going to go down to Google Docs, all right? So I have Google Docs. I can either create a blank document, which I'm going to do here, or I can create from a template that I may have saved previously. But I'm just going to create a blank document. So now what Google did, it automatically created a new document for me to start to work directly in. And if you've ever used Microsoft Word, Google Docs is very similar to Microsoft Word, but the difference is you don't have to download any application, you don't have to download any program or do any installation. It lives directly within your Google Drive, all within the cloud. So you don't have to worry about anything, and it's of course completely free for you to utilize. So for my document, I'm just gonna give it a quick name here, and I'll just call this my math class work. Okay, so this will be my math classwork. So I just went to my top, I just typed in math classwork, and that will be the name of my document. So now I have my document and a couple things that I want to add to my document. So I can start to add some basic text into my document. So I'll just say, welcome to our math class. Hope you enjoy. All right, so just some example text that I can add to my document. Right, various things. Now with my text, I can do a couple things. So I can highlight my text within my document. And again, very similar to working with Microsoft Word. At the top bar here, I have a couple options on how I can modify the text I'm working with. So I highlighted the text that I want to modify. I can make it bold. I can make it italicized, underlined. I can change the color if I'd like, right? I can change the size of the text, make it bigger or smaller. Various things I can do. Highlighter if I want to highlight the background. Various different things I can do. But I'm just going to go ahead and make it normal here. All right. So a couple things that I can modify. I can also modify even just specific words, right? I can highlight the specific words and make modifications accordingly like that there, right? So various things that you can do directly within this top bar on modifying your text, right? So if I modified my text, all right, now this is my text. Maybe I want to, type an essay. I can go ahead and type in a full essay. I can do various things like that there. Are you able to change the background color? So for the document, you can't change the entire background color. But like I noted, what you can do, so let's say I highlight my text and I can select this little option. It looks like a little highlighter. I can click this highlighter button and I can change the background of just the text. So maybe I want the background to be yellow. I could also change it to blue or purple or whatever color I'd like. So I could change the background color of the text of my document here. So great question. All right. So now I have my documents, and next thing I want to make this a little more interesting. So maybe my students are working on a paper or some project, let's say in math, and let's say I want to do something a little bit better. Let's say I want to add an image to my document. So a couple ways I can add an image to my document here. First thing, at the top of the page, so we have this top bar with file, we have edit. I can go click insert, and I can insert an image. Now, a couple ways I can get an image. I can either upload it directly from my computer. I can search the web, which we'll take a look at in a second. I can go into my drive. I can go into my photos that I've saved. I can just get a URL from maybe online, or I can even use my webcam to actually take a photo. So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and upload from my computer. So I have an example picture on my computer that I'm going to upload to share. So I'll just take my just have an example photo, algebra photo, and I can upload that directly to my documents. All right, so that gives me the opportunity to, again, give a little interesting flair to my document. Again, if my students are working on a specific project, they can add various images. So again, for this example, I went to Insert, Image, and then Upload from Computer. All right, so I got my image here. Now, the next thing that I do want to show in terms of being able to get information into the document, so if we got the image this way, I could also go to the other features and I could search the web, do Drive, Photos, various different things. One thing that is a great way to be able to get information into your document, if you notice at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see this little Explore option, this little square with a star inside of it. Now, this gives you a couple features on how you could bring information into your basic Google Doc. So I'm going to click this Explore option just at the bottom right-hand corner. And now I get this little pop-up on the right-hand side. What this does, it gives me the opportunity to search online for various information that I may want to add to my document. So I'm just going to search online for algebra. So I've been working with algebra, so I'm going to go ahead and just search for algebra as an example. So it gives me a couple options here. First off, it gives me results directly from the web. So I can get either the Wikipedia page from algebra, right? I can go to Math is Fun, get some worksheets, various different things like that. I can also go over to images. Now on images, what this does here, it gives me the chance to look at various images online and bring them into my document. All right, so these are directly images that I searched up from online, and I can go bring them into my document. So let's say, for example, I'm working with exponents. I can go ahead and take this little image of just a to the second power. Two ways that I can bring this image into my document. First way, I can click this, hover over it, click this little plus button, and now this will add it directly to my document. And now I have my great image here. The other way I can add this to my document is just drag and drop it into my document here. Okay, so two ways that we can get our image directly into the document. So just to highlight one more time, so what I did, just in my regular document, the bottom right-hand corner, I have this Explore option. I click Explore. In my example, I just typed algebra. I can get information from the web, or I can go to images and I can drag and drop or click the plus button to get my image into my document. Okay, so great way for me to actually get into my document, to add various things to my document. For my students, this is great for, when your students are creating projects or, writing papers or whatever it may be, they can get various pieces of information into your document. Now, last thing I do want to show is actually modifying some of these images, as well as the difference between modifying images and text. So if I click on my image here, and I'll just use this as an example, you'll see I have this blue bar or some blue outline that comes up, and I have the corners here. I can just drag them, make them a little bit smaller. So if I like my image to be a little bit smaller, maybe it's too big on my page, I can just go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. If I'd like, I can make it really, really large. I can do various things like that, okay? And then I can just click off of it. The other thing I do want to highlight is the difference between images and text when you're working within a Google Doc. So let's say I'm clicked on my text here. So remember, we looked at this top bar and we saw the various different things that we can add, that we can modify our text with. So making it bold, italicized, whatever it may be. Notice, so take a look at this top bar and look at the differences. I'm going to switch between my text and then down to my image. So right now I'm on my text. I have these options here. If I click on my image, notice how the top bar changes. All right, so again, from my text, I have all these options. Now on the image, I have these options. So I can see the different changes. Now it gives me a couple different things I can do. All right, one of the great things you can do, you have this little option that says crop image. I can crop this image, and now this allows me to make my image crop to just specifically what I needed. So maybe I don't want the entire table that this image is on. I can just crop it, and I'll have just my a to the second power, this exponent, right? Or as another example, or some other features, I have my image. I can give my image a border. So right now there's no border around my image, but if I click it and I have this option here, my border weight. So maybe I wanted to have a really robust border. I can go ahead and click 4-point, and that will give it a great border here. Okay. So some great features on what I can do with modifying my image as well as modifying my text, all in this top bar here. Okay. So great note here. So what we'll do, and just to get to your other question, yeah. So in terms of the background color, the whole page, don't think there's a way to change your entire page, all right? But just we can highlight, we can do the highlighting option as if we're working with a highlighter and highlight that background there. All right, so what we can do, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes, just about 5 minutes. What I want you to do, I want you to go into, you'll do 6 things. Go to drive.google.com. I want you to sign in. So using your email address. I want you to create a new folder. So similar to how we did in our Google Drive, create a new folder. I created my math class. You can create whatever you'd like. Just one folder is okay. Then I want you to create a new Google Doc. So very similar to what we did here with I created a math class document, classwork. Then add some text and add some images. All right, so go ahead and add some text, add some images. I do encourage, if you do add some images, try and use out that explore option. All right, so go to explore, add some, search something up, and then add some images based on the information there, okay? So take about 5 minutes, go ahead and try that out, and you can work on adding the various information there, and then we'll come back. And I do encourage you, if you have any questions, let me know, and I can definitely help you out and work through it. So just take about 5 minutes to go through and work through that there. And yes, feel free to either post in the chat or unmute yourself if you have any questions, and I can definitely help you out. So again, let me just post the things I want you to do just in case. So I just posted the 6 things to try out just in case you need to rehash just about the steps I want you to try out. Let me just take another 2 minutes or so and try and create that folder, the document, and add some text and images, and play with that explore button, see what you can add in there. Take another minute and we'll come back together. All right, we'll come back in just 30 seconds, and then we'll show a couple other things within Google Docs. All right, so let's come back together. So hopefully you were able to, again, get into Google Drive, create a folder, create a document, add some text, add some images to your document, and play around with that Explore button. Hopefully you're able to try some of those things out. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to post in the chat or unmute yourself. Definitely want to answer any questions that you do have. So just a couple other things I do want to show, which would be very helpful with your document. Great. Okay. So one thing that it does come up pretty frequently is if you notice with the images here. So of course, like I noted, you can click on the image, any of the images, and you can either make them smaller or bigger or whatever it may be that you want to do. One thing that I'll do, and I'll actually use just one image here. So two things I want to note. So remember, this is the image I got from the Explore button from online. Notice what Google does. It notes the specific website that the image comes from. So you can have that as a reference point when you click on the image, so you could always see where it came from. If you don't want this link to pop up anymore after you already clicked it, after you already added your image, if you click it, that link will pop up. There's this little, it's like a chain link with a cross through it. You can always remove the link. All right, so if you remove the link, then it will no longer be there. So now you can just click on it and it's just be there for you, so you don't have to see that there. You can always add the link back as well. And I'll actually note adding hyperlinks to text or images in a second as well. Another thing that does come up with images specifically is, let's say, for example, you're working with an image and you want to move it around to a different position on your page. So let's say, for example, you want to move it right next to the text. But if we notice, sure, it's right next to the text, but it doesn't really fit as well as we'd like on the page. I kind of want that newspaper feel where the text can be anywhere on the side and the image can be on the right-hand side or left-hand side. So what I can do, I can't drag my image exactly anywhere on the paper, even if I want to drag it to this right. I can't do that right now. So what I have to do, if I click on my image, I have some options that come up directly below it. So the default option here is in line with text and inline. And what that means is your image is literally treated as if it's text. It just sits directly in line with your text. So if I was to drag it up right next to my text, it's literally thinking of my image as if it's almost like text, and it's just in line with the rest of what's on my page, the text that's on my page. If I click it again, I have a few other options. And one option that I think is really great is a wrap text. What this wrap text will do, it'll allow your image to move freely around your page, and then it will just wrap the text around your image. So if I go ahead and click wrap text, now I notice that my text moved a little bit, but now I can drag my image to any place on the page that I would like. All right, so it gives me that flexibility and freedom, even if I want it in between my words. Right, and again, this is great if your students are maybe working and they're creating like newspaper articles, or if they're writing essays and they have images that they want to add into their essays, or if they're making a project that's very similar to a book, right? And you have images that are embedded in the text. You can do that as long as you click on it and you have wrap text, and that'll give your image the freedom to move around the page. So that's a great feature for you to work with there. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do want to highlight as well, like I noted, I removed the hyperlink from this page here. Let's say, for example, I want to link either my image or my text to a specific website that I want my kids to utilize. So for example, previously I was looking up algebra, or I'm just going to go to algebra. And let's say I want to link them directly to the Wikipedia page. So what I can do, a couple things I can do. If I go to the Wikipedia page for algebra, right? Of course, I have my direct Wikipedia page. I can take the link, and I'm just going to copy that entire link. I'll go back to my document here. Now let's say I just want to link this entire text here to the page for algebra. What I can do, and at the top bar, you'll have, again, a couple options on your text. You'll see this little link icon, this chain icon. This gives you the chance to insert a link. Now, if I click that button here, it gives me both my text and a location to insert my link. So I'm just going to paste the link I copied. I'll click apply. And now my text will link directly to the website that I had, the Wikipedia page. So if I click my text, I can see it gives me that little hyperlink. It tells me what it is. I can click on it, and it will open up directly to the Wikipedia page for algebra. Okay, so that's a great feature. Again, especially if you're working with students who work with like reference documents, or if they're creating things and you want them to link their references directly to what they were working on, you can always go ahead and highlight your text, go to the insert link at the top bar, and then you can insert a link there. Okay, so great feature for you to utilize when working with your students. Now, the other thing that's also really great is the opportunity to comment on your documents. So when you're working with documents, and let's say you're sharing them between students, or students are working within a group, in a small group or a large group, and they want to be able to collaborate within their work. So they're going to have the opportunity to share, which we'll take a look at in a second. What we can do here, let's say I want to make a comment on my text here. So let's say I'm the teacher and maybe I'm grading the student's work, or if I'm another student and I want to make a comment on my partner's work that they did on a project that we're working on. If I highlight my text, on the right-hand side, you'll notice this little circle with a square and plus sign comes up. It gives you the chance to add a comment to this text. All right, so if I click this add a comment, now it shows me that I can add a comment. So it tells me, okay, this is me right here. Now I can add a comment to this text. So let's say I want to, post some comment here, and I could say, please see the link for a reference to my work, and I can leave a comment there. So that'd be a great comment. I could also, leave another comment like check your spelling, or check your grammar, or even for math, like check your order of operations. Right? Various things like that we can do to add comments on the various work. Okay, and the same things can be done, for any text and when you're collaborating, with your groups. Okay, so great things. Another thing that's really great to highlight in the comments. So I'm just going to delete this comment here. Let's say I give another comment. I'm just going to give an example again. I'm going to comment here. Let's say I'm the teacher and I'm grading work. And I want to tag someone specifically. What I can do, I can add other people just by clicking @ so I type @ and then I have the opportunity to type in various people. So I'll just use myself as an example. I can just type in either my name, my email, or I can type in one of my colleagues' email, or I can type in one of my students' emails, right? And then I can leave a comment for them. So I could say, check your spelling, right? And what this will do, this will give them a notification saying they need to address this comment, or this comment is specifically for you, all right? So once I do that, then I can see, okay, this person is who I tagged. They'll get a notification saying they need to come into this document because someone left a comment specifically for them. So that's a great feature for you to utilize within Google Docs here. Okay. Now, before we move on, we do need to take a look at how we can actually get this document to our students, right? So how can we share this to our students? We created a worksheet, now we want to share it with our students. So what we can do, at the top right-hand corner, we have this little blue icon with a lock on it. This is the share icon. So right now, like I said, it has a lock on it and it says private to only me. So as of now, I am the only person who can view this document. All right, I'm the only person who has view or edit access. I'm the only person who can work on it. So I want to change that. I'm going to click on this button here, the share. Now I have a few things that I can do to share this document. Now, first thing I can do, I can add people directly utilizing just their emails. So I can type in their emails and add them to this document to either share, to either edit, to view, to collaborate in this document. All right, so I can type in, if I have one of my, maybe it could be my student, I type them in, and then I can leave a message. I can say, please see this document, right? So I can send them a message and I can send this document to them. I can give them edit access, or I can change that to either have them only view, so they could only view, maybe they can't make edits, they could only view it, or I can only have them make comments. So just like I left a comment a second ago, maybe I only want them to leave comments based on the work. So review my work and leave comments on it. That's an option for me as well, okay? So this is also great because let's say you have 30 students in your class and you want to copy all those emails and paste it into the email address bar here. You can also do that as well, okay? Now, the other way that you can do this, at the bottom here, you have another box that says Get Link. If you click this here, a couple things. Now, first, you can copy this link directly. So I can copy this link and send it to people, but they won't be able to access it because I didn't change the permissions on this document. So I have to change this option here that says restricted. So that right now, only people added can open this link. So and I haven't added anybody yet. I'm going to click this drop down, and now I have a few other options. So restricted, again, no one can access this document. Now the next one, right now it says mouse.org. Mouse.org would be, as an example, your specific school. So PS123 or something like that, right? That would be your school. So only people in your school can access this document. Or the final one is anyone with the link can access the document. And what that will do, that will give anyone who has access to this link opportunity to access and get onto this document to either view, edit, or comment. So for my purposes, I'll click anyone with the link. So I want to share this with anyone so that they can get in. So it updated, but right now it only says viewer. So maybe I only want people to view the document, then I would leave it at viewer. Maybe I only want them to comment, then I could change it to comment. I can also change it to editor. So I want everyone to be able to collaborate on this document. I can change this to editor. And once I change it to editor, now if I copy the link and I send it to whoever it may be, then anyone who has access to the link will be able to come in. They can add pictures, they can add text, they can add links, they can add various different things to my document here. All right, so just another highlight, go into share. I can either add specific emails. So this is great if I know I have specific students that I want to add. I can add them to this document. Or down at Get Link, I can change the permissions. So either restricted, only I can modify. My school name would be here, or my specific school organization, or anyone with the link. And then very important, changing these permissions, either viewer, commenter, or editor. Okay. So I had that done here. Okay, so great ways that you can share your documents. Again, this is great for sharing specifically with your students. It's also great for students collaborating with each other when working on projects or in small group projects. Various different ways that you can collaborate utilizing Google Docs. All right. And just a couple other things I do want to highlight. Actually, I was thinking about it, and you didn't know. Yep, so you said, great, Google made it possible to make copies for each student. Yes. That's a great note as well. Yes, in Google Classroom, Google does give you the opportunity to create a document and then automatically make copies of that document to send out to your students. So that's a great feature there. Now, next thing I do want to highlight, and getting back to your other question, I did check because I was trying to remember changing the color of the page of the document. If you go at the top left, you have File. And you have the option at the very bottom, it says page setup. Now at page setup, what this does, it gives you a couple options. So you could change it from portrait to landscape, so flip it on its side. You can change the margins. So I have very small margins right now. I can make them very big, so I can keep things in the center or something like that. I can also change the page color. So here it's basic white. Let's say I want to change it to red, right? And I can go and change the page color. So yes, good question previously, and make sure I note that. So yes, you can change the page color. I'm going to go back and just change it to my default. Oops. Let's just change it to my white page here. And yeah, okay. So yes, you do have that option. That's just, again, in File, and you have Page Setup. Yeah, so you can change the colors of anything there. All right, so before we do jump in Jamboard, there is one other thing that I do want to highlight. With your document, you have the opportunity to translate your document into various different languages. So this is great if you're working with your ELL student, or of course you're a math teacher. Maybe you either have students that you speak different languages or are learning as a second language, or maybe you collaborate with a teacher who's an English language learner or teacher. What you can do, just in your basic document, you can go to Tools at the very top bar. Then you have the option to translate document. And when you click translate document, now what this does, it's going to give you the opportunity to translate into almost any language that you could probably imagine. So you have your choose language and any language that you would like. So I can go through anything. I'm going to, just for our purposes, very, very common in New York City. I'll just go to Spanish. I can find my Spanish here. There we go. Right, and I can give my document a new title. So I'm just going to say, I'll say Spanish copy of math classwork. All right. So just again to highlight, in my basic document, Tools, translate document. And I'll just change this to Spanish. Again, you could change this to any language that you'd like. All right, change to Spanish, and I'm going to translate my document. Now what this does, it automatically creates a brand new document directly within your drive that will translate all the information in it, brand new in a new document for you. So I have my text here, it translated it for you. Now, caveat, I mean, Google is not perfect. It's an automated system that's using translation. So it's not absolutely perfect, but it does a good enough job where hopefully it can help to support some of your students who may be learning a different language, or are learning English for the first time. Okay, so great thing that you could do here. Okay. So now we're going to jump into Jamboard, but before that, I'm going to go back into a little bit of organization within my Google Drive. So I'm going to go back into my Drive. Now in my Drive, so notice I have my folders, my various periods. Excuse me, I have my classwork, so that's the math classwork that I've been working with. Now what I'll do, I can move my classwork document into different folders. So similarly, how I was looking at the different folders, if I look in period 1, there's no content in here right now. So I'll go back into my math class and I'll just go ahead and drag my math classwork into my period 1, right? And it tells me it's been moved into period 1. I can click in period 1 and I can see my math classwork there, all right? If I'd like, I can also just, let's say I want to drag it back into math class, can drag this just at the top, move it into math class, all right? And I can do those various things here. So great features on how I can actually move my documents between different folders. I can also move various folders into each other as well. So for example, let's say I take my math classwork, I'll move it into period 1. I can take my period 1 and move it into period 2 if I'd like. And then I would have period 1 and I would have my math classwork. Okay, so great features for me to be able to do there. Another way, two other ways I want to highlight that you can actually move your documents or move your folders. Any folder or document you have, and if you're inside your drive, you can go ahead and right click and you'll have the option of move to. Now, when you click move to, this will give you another pop-up that will show you where it's located. Let's say I want to move it back outside. Let's say I want to move it to period 2. I can move here. Okay? And now it's no longer in period 1, but if I go back, I will see this is in period 2. Okay, so I can, again, right click and I can move to anywhere that I would like. Same thing works for both documents and for folders. So if I have period 1, I can right click, move to, maybe I want to move it back to math class, and I could just move here. Okay. Now, the final way that you can organize your drive and move documents, let's say that I'm in my document. So in this math class document, at the top, you'll notice it says move. You'll have this little same folder icon that we clicked previously when we right-clicked in the Google Drive. Top of any document, you'll see this little folder with the arrow, and I'll click move. This will do the same thing. Show me the folder that it's currently located in, and then I can move it into that folder. So if I want period 1, I can click in period 1. I could also see what's in period 1, nothing in here yet, but I could just move it here. Now it's organizing. Now it tells me, great, it's in period 1 now. If I go back into my period 1, I will see my document. Okay, so great feature for me to be able to organize my Google Docs and my Google folders within my Google Drive. All right. Now, a final thing we do want to look at, want to take a look at Google Jamboard. Now, again, this is a kind of a new feature that Google added into Google Drive just a couple months ago, and it kind of works as a whiteboard that you and your students would be able to collaborate and work with within your class. So I'm just going to click New, same thing I did to create a folder and a document. I don't see Google Jamboard here yet, but I can click More, and I'll click Google Jamboard. So it's this little orange icon. I can click my Google Jamboard, and it will create something they just call an untitled jam. This is like a new jam. But very, very similar to a whiteboard, this gives you a lot of collaboration features for you to utilize with your students or with your students amongst themselves working with small groups, various ways you can do that. So on the left-hand side, well, actually, first, I'm just going to give this a name. I'll say my math class whiteboard, right, just as an example. Now, a couple features that I can add. Right on the left-hand side, I have a pen. All right, so I can use my pen. I can draw whatever I'd like. I can change the color of the pen. So maybe I want it red, right? I can change the various size. Maybe I want it to be the highlighter. Do those various things, all right? I'll keep this one. I can also have an eraser. So if I want, I can erase, everything that I just did here to my little eraser, all right? This is just my pointer tool to make sure I can select. The great thing that I do like here is a sticky note. Now on the sticky notes, I can type in anything that I'd like. So I could say, hello, this is my first note. All right, I can change the color if I'd like. I could say books. I could say this is math. And this is ELA. Oops, ELA, right? So various different things I can do with sticky notes, all right? Now, also I can add various images. So similar to how I did previously, right? If I want to add, let's say I have my algebra image, I can add that to my document here or to my Jamboard here. So making this whiteboard, I can just add my image here. Same thing like I moved my image, I can do the same thing for my Post-it notes. I can also add some shapes. So here I have a circle. I can add a triangle, a square, various different things. I can just add various shapes here, all right? And then two other things I have, I can actually add a text box. So let's say I want to type some text. I can say math class Jamboard. I can add my text here, move my text to wherever I'd like. And then I have like a highlighter. So maybe I already did a laser pointer. So maybe I already created a whiteboard and I just want to present something to my students. I can use this as a laser pointer just to like point to various things, kind of like an example on a whiteboard. All right, so great features I can actually utilize when working with Jamboard. I also have the opportunity to have multiple whiteboards on one Jamboard. So this one, right, I have all this information I put at the top. I can move to the right and I can create a brand new one. So maybe I want this one to be my ELA Jamboard. Okay. I can create an ELA Jamboard. This will be my next one. Next one, maybe I have a science Jamboard, right? Various different things I can create with my Jamboard, okay? So great features, very similar to Google Docs. I have the option to share So I can click share, and it comes up with the same options that I had. I can either send directly to my students or to other colleagues, or I can click get link and do the same thing I had before. Maybe I want anyone with the link. I can copy the link, change it to editor, and I can make sure it's saved, and I'm done. And then I'll be able to share this to my to other people that I'd like. All right. Let's see, as a collaborative tool, how can you make student respond to prompts? So a great thing, what I can actually do, let me go ahead and copy this link. Oops, sorry. Let me go ahead and copy this link, and I'll post this in here, and you should be able to access, if you click on that link, you should be able to access the document. And so what you can do, what's really great is this is a completely collaborative document. So you could see that we're all now in the document, and we can all, we can post various things, right? So we can post text. If you like, you can post, draw some circles. We can all post like some Post-it notes, various different things. So this works great for you as the teacher sharing with your students, but then also your students working amongst each other in a small group or working on a project or whatever it may be. And I think it's perfect for the virtual world that we live in, right? Where everyone, they may be at home working on just an iPad, or maybe they all are working in class. It can also be collaborative in that way. So this is a great tool. It's obviously not very, it's not as in-depth as some other things, but it does have some great features and some very simple features that your students can really gravitate to and find some great use out of. Okay, so that's some great things that you'd be able to do with Jamboard here. All right. So those are just a couple things that we worked on. So we looked at Google Drive. We took a look at Google Docs. Adding some various things, managing our Google Docs, managing our Drive. And then we took a look at some of the features that we have with Google Jamboard that you can utilize with your students, all right? So those are the great things that you have with Google. There's tons of other things. Of course, we only looked at a few things. There's Google Slides, there's Google Sheets, there's various other tools that Google does provide for you to really take your classroom to the next level, especially on those opportunities you have to collaborate with your students amongst each other in the class. All right. So let me know if you have any other questions. Those are the features that we did look at for today. But yeah, I really do encourage, if you have any other questions, let me know. I can definitely address them in the time we have. In addition, some great features, yes. This is what I love about Google. They've been adding various different features that are really going to take take your classroom to the next level. And your students, I know students now, they pick up on so many things very, very quickly that I think they'll be able to have a lot of fun with, while of course they're still learning. All right. So just before you do go, do encourage, if you can, to take pretty much a minute or so, even less than a minute, to just fill out a survey. So we just posted it in the chat. With that survey, that will just give us some feedback on the PD, just giving us some quick feedback on what we worked on today and how you felt about it. All right. And similar to how you found this PD, we do encourage you to check out some of the other PDs that we have for the next couple weeks. And yeah, we do really encourage that. Oh, you said I've been using Google Apply Digital Skills for some weeks now. That's excellent. That's some really great, really great skills that you can learn. And I know as a teacher, there's so many different things that we want to be able to improve the quality of our education and our teaching skills, and the learning that our students will get. And I think a lot of these tools and these digital skills and these various different things will really take the the education that students are getting to the next level. So I definitely encourage you to continue learning various different things with Google. All right. So yeah, so feel free, just take a minute. If you could just do the post survey, we would sincerely appreciate that. And yeah, once you finish that, you can go ahead and sign off, and hopefully we'll see you at some of the next PDs as well. And yeah, let me know if you have any other questions in the last couple minutes. If not, go ahead and fill out that post survey, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just let me know when you finish the survey, and then you can go ahead and log off, and yeah, we'll see you next time.